So my next question for you is then, what does Harvey Dent's transformation into Two-Face symbolize about the nature of good and
I think
evil?
it just tells you, and we see this so much, right? We've seen it so much in history that unfortunately people will go along with um evil if
Mm,
they believe that that's the prevailing order and trajectory of the day. So, like, like people used to
mm,
say, like, when the Holocaust was going on, like, yeah, you might have the ideology of Nazism and all that, but you also had some people that were like, okay, cool,
mhm,
I'm gonna drive this train that's got these people on it, and I'm gonna build this
mhm.
machine that people are gonna get in that's a gas chamber. And the question is like, why do people go along with that? Like why do people
Yeah.
do that part? And I think it's because some people really can be pushed to, and not don't be pushed really hard,
Mm,
but can be pushed into a situation where they will become the architects of the destruction of other people. In
mm.
the movie, like you see that with Harvey Dent, but as we talked about earlier, the people on the boat don't do that. Like one of those
Yeah.
groups could have gone along with the same thing that the Joker was putting down and that Harvey was putting down, but they didn't. Even the Batman doesn't kill Joker knowing that the Joker is really responsible for Rachel's death,
Yeah.
right? So it's like it just shows you like, yeah, sometimes even the best or what you think is the best of humanity can become the worst of humanity under the right pressure. And I think that's what you see.
That's a dope response. I like that, man. I like that. So, does Batman's willingness then to operate outside the law make him a hero or a villain?
So Batman is it's not that he's a lawbreaker. I know like that's threading the needle on that question.
Mhm.
But I think he's squarely involved in dealing with like justice as most of us would consider it. Like he's trying to stop, the
Mhm.
robbers, the killers, the rapists, the murderers. And no one would be against that. But it's kind of
Right.
reminds me of I remember like I don't remember what episode it was, but we did the Ides of March, right? And the Ides of March has
Yeah.
this
Yeah.
scene in it where they're talking to George Clooney's character, and he's the president, and they're like saying, like, are you for the death penalty? And he's like, no, I'm against it.
Hmm.
Right. And so then the guy who's played by Charlie Rose says to him, well, if somebody killed your wife, what would you do? And he's like, well,
Hmm.
I would find that
Yeah.
person and I would kill them. And he says, so you are in favor of corporate of the death penalty? And he's like, no, I would have been committing a crime. And when I did that, I
Hmm.
would expect to go to jail and I'd be happy to do it. And I think like that's the thing. Batman doesn't live in that part of it. Like it's okay for if
Right.
Batman wants to outside operate outside the lines and do all these things, that's fine. But then he really should be an enemy of the state as well. And the idea that
Yeah.
like the police department doesn't treat him as such allows like that
Yeah.
hole in the logic, which is where the Joker and all these other maniacs start to crawl out of.
That's tough too because that's when Barbara Gordon says when she sees him in the shadows. And at first in the movie theater, when I first saw it, I was like, "Who's she
Yeah.
talking to?" And then I had to focus, and it was him. And then she's like,
The
"You're
reason
the
all this has
reason why
happened. Yeah.
this happened."
Yeah.
And it's like,
Yeah.
wow, that's a
Yeah.
powerful
Because
statement.
yeah,
At first,
it's the escalation of that, right?
yeah,
It's
yeah, yep,
like
yep.
Vision in what was it, Civil War saying like ever since we formed the
Oh
Avengers,
yeah,
all these maniacs have come out of work.
all these things
Right.
have escalated.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, that's tough right there, man. That's tough. So my last question for you then is: how does the film portray the concept of a dark knight, and what does it mean for Batman's
Yeah.
character
It
arc?
shows you that Batman, I think at the end of it, because what's interesting is like, I've like I said, I've watched this movie many times. Somehow I didn't really think about the implications of this particular part. At the end of the movie, Batman does kill Harvey Dent. He
Yeah,
knocks him off the thing and he
over the
dies.
edge.
Like
Yeah.
he did kill Harvey Dent. Like he did break his rule. But it's
Hmm.
like that wasn't the way or the person that he should have been doing it with. I think like he realizes at the end, I can't like think that I'm going to be a good guy and do this for real.
Hmm.
And I think when he kills
Yeah.
Harvey at the end, it's like that's the realization for him. Yeah, I killed Harvey, and Gordon doesn't even think about it either. He's like
No,
he
no
did
one
actually
does.
kill Harvey Dent, and then he's like, "Okay, I killed
Hmm.
him. I'm gonna take the weight for all of the stuff that he did."